The Nerd and Tie podcast is unsurprisingly a part of the Nerd and Tie podcast network. For more podcasts, from actual play to true crime to witchcraft, just go to nerdandtie.com or join our Discord at nerdandtie.com/discord. Did you know you could sponsor Nerd and Tie? That's right, for just $20, we'd say your name here. We'd say how cool you are, and we'd compliment those shoes that you are or are not wearing on what you may or may not have as feet as described by you. Just go to nerdandtie.com, click on the sponsor stuff link in the menu, and follow the instructions there. Or you can contribute to our legal fund by going to gofundme.com/nerdandtie. On this episode of Nerd and Tie, we are talking about the Obiwan Kenobi show on Disney Plus, our thoughts about it. We are talking about the first two episodes of Ms. Marvel that have premiered, and Season 3 of The Umbrella Academy is out on Netflix, and Celeste went to JAFAX, and they have thoughts about what happened there, that plus a fun quiz in the mailbag on this episode of Nerd and Tie. Welcome to Nerd and Tie, the only the only podcast on the internet with a dress code. I am one of your hosts, Trey Dorn. Joining me, as always, are the splendiferous Gen Proc.
What up?
And the downright fountain of wisdom and apparently Michigan travel experience, Celeste Startwin.
Hey, everybody.
That's right. These are the same people who are always here. The names may have changed, but the humans haven't.
Pretty much. There's more info in one of my earlier YouTube videos this month, which you should just watch anyway, because it's a really...
If you go to nerdandtie.com, you can find links to Celeste is Best on YouTube and subscribe to that. That show may have had a previous name, but it doesn't anymore. It has this name now, and you will love it if you liked the show before. If you weren't fond of the show before, you won't be fond of it now, because literally nothing has changed, really.
I mean, like, the lighting and audio quality is better. Yeah. There's I replaced the you can't see it in the current video that's up, but in the next video that's going to be up, you'll notice that I replaced the light in my studio with an LED light, so it's much cleaner.
Ooh,
but
fancy.
Yeah, I know I'm moving up in the world.
But still in the basement. That was a joke about elevation. Because I'm pretty sure that your studio's in your basement.
It is not. It's on it's actually on the second floor.
Okay. How you can tell I've never been in Celeste's house.
It's not a good basement for recording. Oh, well.
All right. Anyways,
it's not a
joke,
great day for braining.
Look, I am operating on 3 hours of sleep, and the world is a nightmare, but we are endeavoring to make this podcast at least your small oasis away from the nightmare that is the current world. And
it's hard to believe that I'm the one who's been on the road for 12 hours this weekend.
It's I'm operating on about 3 hours of sleep because I I get insomnia sometimes and stuff happens. So it's going to be a fun show. It's like a fever dream. It's like I've been goofing around with the DALL-E Mini, the version of that image generator.
Oh, dear.
I think my favorite thing I've generated this month so far was I generated a Star Wars movie poster starring Scott Bakula and Megan Fox.
Oh my gosh.
And it's been delightful. Like I've generated Obiwan Kenobi in a Walmart, and it is everything you could have hoped for.
One of my favorites I've seen was CCTV footage of Yoda robbing a store.
I mean,
And
That's just what happens after,
Well, I'm gonna.
You don't have that George Lucas money coming in anymore.
Well, I'm definitely gonna try to generate that.
Yeah, it's great.
It's but yeah. So we're doing a podcast right now, right? All right.
We
so
are in fact
apparently.
doing a podcast.
I'm going to make the cover image for this episode something I generate on the DALL-E Mini generator. Maybe it'll be Yoda robbing a store on CCTV footage. I don't know. Maybe it'll be a Scott Bakula Star Wars poster. I don't know.
We'll have to find out.
You will find out you won't find out if you just listen to it in the feed like normal because you don't get to see the cover images on most podcatchers. But if you go to the Nerd and Tie website when the episode is up, you will see it. If you go to okay, so the first topic this episode is
Wait, we have topics?
We do. All right, so Obi-Wan Kenobi, the full season is out of Obi-Wan Kenobi on Disney Plus. I want to say light spoilers are going to be in this review, but nothing huge or major. But I'm trying to figure out what constitutes a spoiler. Because any characters who you see from the trilogy, you know what happens to them already. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so I don't think it's a secret to know that Obi-Wan Kenobi shows up in this, and we have both a young Luke and a young Leia in here, and there's Bail Organa's in this, Owen Lars and Beru Lars are in this too, and we have seen all of their canonical deaths in this franchise prior to this show airing, right? So.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there were things, though, you did find some new aspects of the characters that you weren't expecting.
Right, no, but that's why I'm like, it's obviously, that's why I said light spoilers to a degree, just because I think we have to be okay knowing that out of the characters that we know from the original trilogy, they're all going to make it, right? Like, it's...
I mean, yeah, it's just, like, you didn't know going in that you were going to find out about Max Rebo's promiscuous history, but it turns out I just
want to point out that is a lie.
That's
Celeste
that's not
is a
true.
liar. But
Max
okay,
Rebo
I
is
was
not
ready. I was ready to just accept it. I haven't seen the show, so I'm just like, oh yeah,
there's
that
some
totally
really
sounds
wild
right.
stuff.
Celeste and I have seen the whole the whole series, and so we know. And I keep wanting to say season, because what's interesting is that the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series is based off of, originally there's going to be an Obi-Wan Kenobi film, written by, I think, Stuart Beattie, wrote it. And that film script was he wasn't involved in the series at all beyond writing that original movie script, because they scrapped all the Star Wars side movies after Solo kind of fell flat. He's credited on a few episodes just because they based the plot of the season off of his film and used stuff from his script in the show. So he got credited as a writer on the show, but he wasn't actively involved in the show. But what's interesting is that according to an interview that Beattie did, the Obi-Wan Kenobi script that he handed in and that it was written was actually written to be the first part in a trilogy.
That's interesting. That's really interesting. I'm curious about that.
Because the idea was to write a story, an arc for Kenobi over 3 movies that would get him to be the person who he is in A New Hope, who is just willing to, sacrifice himself and die for, Luke, and like become one with the Force in that fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, because Vader, like, people talk about like Vader killing him in that fight. Vader doesn't kill him because Vader's lightsaber never reaches him. Obi-Wan Kenobi joins the Force, and Like he would have died if he hadn't done that to himself, but the lightsaber never reaches him. And so the plot, according to this interview, Beatty was going to like have like the concept of 3 movies, and to get Obi-Wan from the first movie was just him being willing to reconnect with the Force at all, and that's and which is what we got in this season. And so with that in mind, if they worked off of, I mean, Beatty didn't write scripts for the second or third movie, obviously, because they hadn't been greenlit yet, which is why also the storyline works as you could just not make any more Kenobi and it would be fine, right? Like it's
correct.
And I would be okay with that. But if I would also be okay with them telling the rest of the story that Beatty had intended.
Honestly, same. There's so much on the table that I would enjoy seeing explored more, but I don't need it to be. This was when I was in high school. This is almost literally the Star Wars TV show that I wanted.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even kidding. I would talk to my friends about how I wished there was a like wandering samurai style show about Obi-Wan Kenobi set between episodes 3 and 4, because I really liked Ewan McGregor's version of the character. And well,
yeah,
this is almost exactly that show that I wanted, which is weird, but good weird.
Yeah, it's
but weird.
I like the show a lot. I think that the casting on young Leia was amazing, and it's I like.
She's the breakout star of the show, frankly.
It was just channeling that character, like they did such a good job with casting and directing that young actress that it was great. I enjoyed the character arcs that we had this season. I think it's pretty amazing how Ewan McGregor, like I keep always like thinking, oh, Ewan McGregor looks too young to be Alec Guinness in 10 years. And then I looked up the ages, and Ewan McGregor is almost exactly 10 years younger than Alec Guinness was in episode 4. And so I'm like, oh, he looks the exact right age.
To be fair, years of stress and laser sword fighting and living on a planet with like, so little moisture can really rough you up.
Yeah.
It's that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I'm so happy they got Orc Cop back to be Owen Lars again. And it's and same with the actress who played Beru. That I don't know, do people remember that young Owen Lars is played by Orc Cop?
I did not
That's
remember that at all. Oh my god.
It's Joel Edgerton.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I did, however, I was absolutely delighted that Hayden Christensen got another shot at this character.
Oh, good.
Because
so good. I do think it's interesting in that flashback scene, because I don't think it's a spoiler to say that there's a flashback scene to.
They're literally using that scene on network TV to advertise the show. So
yeah, it's a good scene, but it is a flashback. Like it's not like there's a major spoiler and things happening, but they didn't digitally de-age Hayden Christensen.
I think that was the right decision.
Well,
I really do.
The problem is that it's not like episode 3, him. It's like episode 2.
I guess I don't care, because like I get distracted. Most of the time when I see the digital de-aging, I think it looks like ass. And then I'm just distracted by it. It's like there's a making of on the Blu-ray of Rogue One, there's a making of feature that shows you the actor who they digitally put Peter Cushing's face over for Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yeah.
They show him in costume, and you realize putting him in that costume or rather not putting him in that costume, putting that digital face over him was a massive waste of time and money because the guy looks fine.
But
if you would have told me that's Grand Moff Tarkin, I would have been like, that's not Peter Cushing. I would have gone, yeah, that seems right. Seems sure.
Samuel L. Jackson and Captain Marvel.
I mean, yeah, that's one place where they made it work.
Well, no, but I'm saying it's a very different thing. The problem with the Peter Cushing was that they were digitally creating a completely different human being. Digital de-aging looks very good when it's the same actor being de-aged to themselves, because they can directly map every face movement because it's the same face. And especially when they have the similar build. Like, it would be very different, like the reason why young Luke doesn't look perfect on, like, The Mandalorian and his appearance in the Book of Boba Fett is because I guess that is a spoiler. Not a huge one. It's been a while, but is because that Mark Hamill doesn't have the build to play young Luke, so they had to completely effectively deep fake on a different actor. But it looks good in Captain Marvel because they're putting young Samuel L. Jackson on Samuel L. Jackson, right? And Hayden Christensen does have the physical build to still be the same, to play the same character. But so that's why I think that, like, I was surprised they didn't digitally de-age him, because that would be it's the circumstance in which it normally works.
I mean, fair. I don't know. I didn't,
because it kept pulling me out of there just because his hair is a different color. And his, like, the lines in his face, like, his face is shaped slightly differently than it was when he shot Attack of the Clones.
I mean, no, that's fair. But also, like, the thing that took me more out of it was just how different it is when Hayden Christensen gets to work with a director, as opposed to George Lucas. Because I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep shitting on George Lucas, but he's not an actor's director.
No, he's not.
He's not. He has no idea what he's doing with actors. And seeing Christensen get to actually perform his craft was welcome. Extremely welcome.
It's mostly just shocking to me also with the not de-aging him is that if they had done a scene set more later in his experience as a Jedi, like if they had given him a look closer to his Episode 3 look at the beginning of Episode 3, which is his look for most of the Clone Wars, actually. Heck, they could have said it, like, in the Clone Wars. But like that, I mean, I know they wanted to do it during his training, and so for the story there, but, like, that would have not taken me out of it as much to not like if they had not de-aged him in that kind of a scene. You know what I mean?
No, that makes sense.
But I do, like, that's a nitpick. Like that, and that's actually not even a nitpick. That was a minor choice that I didn't like. I have no disagreement with the writing or the themes or the story or the acting. You know what I mean? So it's like that's a thing I noticed that I would have done differently, but literally that's the only thing I have to nitpick in the entire series.
Fair.
You know what I mean? Like, that is my only kind of, and that's just a raised eyebrow, not a complaint.
There is a lightsaber duel in the last, I had to say, so I really liked the lightsaber business in this movie. I mean, in this series, especially in episodes 3 and 6, and having scenes only lit by the blades of the lightsabers, which was so artsy and so cool to look at.
Yeah. It's funny. I've seen people complain about the lightsaber, like people who liked the show complaining about, like, the light, because they liked the way lightsabers looked more in earlier Star Wars.
Which is wild to me, because honestly, this show addressed my biggest issue with prequel lightsaber fights, which are that they are so choreographed that they take me out of it. Everything is so perfectly choreographed that I can't take it. And I know this isn't going to be a common problem for people, but I have a little bit of a martial arts background. And when you have a sword fight that is that choreographed, I can't get into it anymore, because all I'm looking at is like, this is a dance. They're not even hiding it well. This is just this isn't very good choreography. This is just a dance. And this series really did feel like these are two people who know each other's moves, reacting to that, but also there's a level of brutality and honesty and what I would like to see from a sword duel, I guess.
Yeah, I know there are people who really like the lightsaber fights in the prequels, and I just, like, I guess if that's your thing, like, you're not going to like lightsaber fights as much in this. I really like, I mean, I think my favorite lightsaber fight is probably a tie between, oh God, no! Yeah, I like the sequel fights a lot, but I think the best one of, like, arguably the best fight in the whole series is the Return of the Jedi fight, between Luke and Vader, because like I like the visuals in some of the other, like, in the sequel fights better. Like, I love the visuals of the throne room fight in Last Jedi, and I love the fight in The Force Awakens.
Really love that one, yeah.
The two good sequel movies. Fight me. Last Jedi was good. I'll fight people about it, but it's okay. We all agree that Episode 9 was bad. All right.
I actually have a pretty lukewarm defense for Episode 9. I'll still take it over any of the prequels. I will, honest to God, take it over any of the prequels any day.
Having watched, like, so when I watched Episode 9, I had literally just watched all the previous movies. I did a complete rewatch of the prequels, and then the original trilogy despecialized, and then I watched and then I rewatched the 7 and 8, and then I went and saw 9 in the theater. So I watched all that beforehand, and I still think Episode 2 holds up. A lot of it holds up, minus the love story, and I want to say that the world building in the world building in the prequels is far more solid than in Episode 9.
I can't. Episode 2, the entire last half hour loses me. My brain can't deal with it. Maybe I need to try watching on a better TV, but
actually, you should watch it on a worse TV because the CGI does not age well.
That was my biggest problem, is that for me, when I tried watching Episode 2 recently, which was not as recent as your last viewing, but the entire, basically everything on Geonosis is white noise to me. I didn't know who was shooting at who. I couldn't tell what was going on. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan now of the Clone Wars, but in that cartoon, I can tell who has what vehicles. I cannot do that in Episode 2. I have no idea who is what. It's an absolute mess for me.
Well, my big problem with that whole F scene is just the overuse of CGI for the clone troopers, where a guy in a costume would have looked far more realistic and been less expensive.
Going back to the topic at hand, actually,
Kenobi.
McGregor mentioned that when working on Kenobi, one of the things that was really weird for him was that they actually had stormtrooper costumes on set, which was something that he didn't have before. Those were he said, like, he specifically said, yeah, we did scenes with clone troopers, but more often than not, those were CGI characters.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to see them. So there's something much more properly frightening about guys in armor with guns on set with you.
Yeah. It's overall, I think it's safe to say that we like Kenobi. It does feel like, I guess the only real criticism I actually have of the show is that it feels like I want more. Like, it feels like, in part, it feels like a setup to more of his emotional journey than what we get.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, because it really does feel like, okay, he's connecting with the Force. I want to see what he does next, and I know that there's 10 years between, you know.
Right. No, that's extremely fair. But you win some, you lose some.
Anyways.
I really like it. I'm glad it exists.
We enjoyed it. Speaking of things that I enjoyed, I don't know if Celeste did or not, but we've gotten the first couple episodes of Ms. Marvel.
I'm loving it.
I am also loving it.
First episode especially reminded me of the G. Willow Wilson comic, which is one of my favorite recent superhero books. If you haven't had the pleasure of reading it, just go read it. It's really good. It's worth your time.
I think I read the first 15 or 16 issues of that run, and then we hit some big crossover, and I said I'm not going to read a Marvel book for a while, and then I never got around to coming back to it. But I really enjoyed that run when it first came out. That was a while ago. What is that, 10 years ago? What year did the Miss Marvel comic come out? It's but I've really 2014, so 8 years ago. I'm really enjoying this show so much. It is very much catching the vibe of this character. I'm only sort of okay with the changes they've made to her powers on the show. I'm 100% fine with the change to her origin, right? Because in the comics, she's an Inhuman, but her powers got activated about the same time of after this big Inhuman storyline in the Marvel comics, where a whole bunch of Inhumans got activated at the end of that. So,
and I appreciate Marvel not pretending, giving up on the pretense that anyone cares about the Inhumans.
I mean,
I
we
appreciate
did just get
that.
Doctor Strange.
I haven't seen it yet. I still don't care about the Inhumans.
Oh, so was that a spoiler?
No, I knew about it because everyone has already spoiled it already, because no one has any respect for the fact that I don't go to theaters right now. But that's beside the point.
It's on Disney Plus right now.
I know, but it got on Disney Plus the day that I had to take a 6-hour car drive.
Yeah. Were you the driver?
No, but I had to keep the driver awake.
You could have you could have kept the driver awake by describing everything happening in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, then the driver would kill me. So that's not a good idea. So I was working all weekend.
Anyways, so far, I've really enjoyed this casting. But so they've taken the Inhumans part out of her backstory, which makes sense only because in the comics, her backstory assumes what Inhumans are and what Terrigen Mist is and all this stuff, and so in the comics they just roll right through that, right? So
mm-hmm.
And they do more. They do touch on some Inhuman stuff, she meets other Inhumans in the comics, following, because obviously she has questions, but they don't expect the reader to have questions about it. So swapping that out with what they're doing, and I don't want to spoil it for people joining in the series, because the origins of her powers are kind of a part of the show, and it's kind of there's kind of an in-name only thing with some other characters, and for how it works, but it's overall they have the vibe right. They have the exact right vibe for a Kamala Khan story. And, they replaced her, writing fan fiction about the Avengers with her making YouTube videos about the Avengers and, basic stuff like that. But
I think the changes to the powers, my own take on it, I think it's just the fact that we still haven't made elastic characters look good on screen.
Yeah, no,
It's never worked. It still hasn't worked. And
I think the only time it did vaguely work was in a completely animated picture,
yeah,
i.e. The
yeah.
Incredibles.
The only good Fantastic Four movie. Yeah.
Right? Like,
no, but you're not wrong at all, because like that's really where a lot of the problem is. It's just it other than the Incredibles, elastic powers always just tend to look either okay to really bad. And like, I mean, maybe I could be more forgiving of that on like a regular TV show, but on a Disney Plus, premium mini series, I don't think the audience is going to be nearly as forgiving. I'm pretty forgiving if I like the story enough, but yeah, like I don't think that there's enough people who think like me who would be willing to deal with that if it just looked that bad.
It is. It's so we're a few episodes in, but obviously, she hasn't called herself Miss Marvel yet in the show.
That's okay. It took Scarlet Witch like almost 10 real world years to do that.
No, but also though, like, to be fair, they never called her Scarlet Witch in the titles of anything though. Like, I guess maybe they did in promotions, but mostly they just called her Wanda Maximoff in promotional stuff, and then her TV show was WandaVision, not Scarlet Witch Vision, but it's going to be interesting to see how they get there though, because like her idealizing Carol Danvers is still kept in the show, but she gets to the name in the
in the comic
because Carol Danvers had been called Ms. Marvel and had taken on and is like the third Captain Marvel or something, because
several other people had used both the Captain and Ms. Marvel title at that point. So this series is we're skipping straight to it, which I'm again fine with. I don't feel that especially if there's a modern version of a character who really resonates with audiences, I don't feel like we should be beholden to referencing each and every one of the earlier iterations.
Absolutely. Because, it's going to be interesting to see how they justify her going with the name, because obviously I think before the end of the season, if not sooner, I assume she's going to be calling herself Ms. Marvel.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to imply that you felt that way either. It's just like, it's one of those weird.
Yeah, I'm just curious as to how they're going to cross that road. But so far, I'm really enjoying it. Obviously, we're going to keep talking about the show as it keeps airing. So,
great cast, though. Oh, one other thing I want to talk about that I really liked in it, just a little shout out. I love, and this is speaking as someone who is not currently practicing any particular religion, but I appreciate the show's ability to make Islam so boringly normal, like with how weird and othering so much media has tried to make Muslim Americans. Showing mosque life as just this kind of normal, vaguely boring thing, I'm so here for it. I love it. I really do love it. It's very good. I know that's a really weird way to phrase that, but I really, really, really like how they're handling that.
Yeah. I also enjoy that. So yeah, it's I think that's all we have to say about Ms. Marvel so far.
It's good.
The cast is amazing, and the show so far is very good.
The lead actress is adorable.
And
That's
apparently
really...
used to cosplay as Kamala Khan.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry. This is one other really funny thing. I have a one of my oldest fans at my YouTube channel was and still is a first generation Canadian American immigrant whose parents were Pakistani. And I would sometimes joke with her when she was when she would like write to me and check in that she came off as real life Kamala Khan. And apparently she grew up in like the same neighborhood in Toronto as the actress they actually cast for the character. So that just delights me so much. It's like so close.
All right. So that should slide us on over to the next topic, which is that moving from Disney Plus to the Netflix is Umbrella Academy Season 3 is out and premiered and is available on televisions, and it's really fun. There's a dance sequence in the first episode. It's a Footloose.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know. Like, I must have missed something. I literally did not know that the third season premiered until my friend messaged me on Monday of last week.
Yeah.
Like,
I did not hear much about like it actually dropping until like people started talking about like, oh, it dropped, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, no, same.
It was
It
very
like,
quiet.
I would have liked to have known about that ahead of time, but okay.
Right, so that I could set some time to like actually watch it all, but oh well.
I really thoroughly enjoyed the first two seasons, so I'm excited. I'm sure that it sounds like it's still good.
Yeah.
I hope it's still good.
It's really interesting. So now, like, it's really interesting. Like, the show has diverged from the comics so much.
Yeah, give me like comic context, because I've never read any of the comics. I don't know what story they entail.
God, so the first season lines up roughly with like the first arc. But they start going astray pretty fast. Really, really fast. Like, powers work differently for some characters. Ben is dead in the comics, obviously, but like the whole thing with like Ghost Ben and stuff like that does not happen. I have not read the comics. I have only read wiki articles because I'm an obsessive nerd.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And so, like, I do know that, like, the current season is taking cues from the Hotel Oblivion story that was published, I think, in 2019. That was originally supposed to come out, like, a decade earlier because Gerard Way is a busy, busy boy. But
what's he got going on?
Just, you know,
what's he doing?
My Chemical Romance.
No, I mean, what? Nah, he doesn't do that. That's someone else.
He does that way more than anything else these days.
He does that
way
more.
Anyway,
I know.
So the
I know.
showrunners,
I'm actually a fan of Gerard Way. I'm just giving you crap.
It's but I think the image for this episode is going to be CCTV footage of Obi-Wan Kenobi on a skateboard.
Oh, very good.
I don't know which of these I'm going to use, but it's going to be both good and disturbing at the same time.
Excellent. That's all you can hope for with Deli Mini.
Yeah, it's anyways, it's Umbrella Academy Season 3. So the show's back. They've kind of abandoned the source material pretty much at this point and are just writing their own thing. It's I don't want to spoil anything, but I don't want to spoil too much. I will say, like, if you, I will say at the beginning of the season, because season 2 involved them traveling back to 1963, and the changes made in the timeline because of their traveling back in time, they arrive back in I think it's 2019 is the current year in the show.
Yep.
And they find that the Umbrella Academy has been replaced with the Sparrow Academy. The only person who's a member of the Sparrow Academy who had been a member of the Umbrella Academy is Ben, who is no longer dead. Which, Ben had this great story arc in season 2 with his spirit moving on. I'm not going to spoil it past that, but so living Ben is very different from dead Ben.
Yeah. Yeah, but it makes sense why he's there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It totally makes sense.
Yes. Yes, but so like it and the Sparrow Academy is much more together and organized than the Umbrella Academy is.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
They don't seem as disjointed.
So there's some conflict there between the two groups.
Yeah.
And,
Tension. Started off by a dance battle.
Well,
Oh.
except it didn't. The dance. Just minor spoiler. The dance battle in the first 5 minutes is a hallucination. We're all disappointed it wasn't real. But the it is altogether without any spoilers for the season. And I'm realizing my computer's made a noise that's going in the recording. Sorry for that snapshot sound. The overall arc for the season though really works, and it's really like none of the episodes seem unnecessary. The runtimes don't seem long. It's because which can happen with a Netflix series where the problem with Netflix is that they're not strict about how long episodes are, and so sometimes
no, and these ones are like 40 to 50 minutes long.
Right. And so what happens with some Netflix shows is that like it'll be a great show, but maybe you could have cut 10 minutes and it would have been better from an episode. You don't get that with Umbrella Academy, mostly because just so much stuff happens. It doesn't feel rushed. It feels like it gets to breathe, but it also like there's nothing that doesn't feel necessary in the episodes. So I deeply enjoyed it. Some messed up stuff happens this season. But it's the Umbrella Academy. Some messed up stuff happens every season. There are some great twists and some really funny stuff because, again, even when the show is going really dark, it is still very funny at the same time, which is what I like about the sensibility of the show. So, yeah, it's Umbrella Academy Season 3. It's if you liked Seasons 1 and 2, you're going to love this. If you didn't like Seasons 1 and 2, I'll fight you. Meet me in the abandoned Shopko parking lot at right off of right off of Claremont and like 37 there. I will just meet me there. That's where we'll fight. Where they used to put out the garden center stuff in the spring.
It's right next to what used to be Ron Castle Foods.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know what's in the Ron Castle Foods right now because I know that was for a while it was a homeless shelter. I don't know if there's anything, but that might have just been temporary for the winter.
I just remember like when I was a kid, it was Ron Castle Foods.
Yeah.
And then it was a Gordy's for a little bit.
Yeah, it was a Gordy's, and then Gordy's shut down, and then they tried to briefly reopen it as a Gordy's, and then it shut down again, and then it reopened as an IGA, and then the IGA went out of business. So they just can't keep a grocery store. It's very frustrating because we moved back to this neighborhood explicitly because there was a convenient grocery store, and then the grocery store immediately closed.
And the Shopko, and Shopkos were actually pretty convenient.
Yes, they were. I have many things in this office that I'm looking at that were bought at a Shopko. It's my nightstand in my bedroom was bought at a Shopko. I I've spent a lot of money at a Shopko. I love Shopko, and it was very convenient having a department store within walking distance of my home.
Yeah.
But all the convenient shopping, we moved back because there was a Shopko and there was a grocery store, and then there wasn't.
And if you're wondering, Celeste, yes, Ron Castle Foods did have a little bit of castle decorating to it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yes.
Like
Excellent.
it's the bare minimum.
Now
Folks-
I'm sad it's
folks-
gone, and I've never been there.
Folks, I have to I don't know if people realize that I live in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and again used to live in Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
Yeah, I
and we're
grew up in
talking
Eau Claire,
about-
Wisconsin.
We're
So we
talking
could just
about landmarks on the south side of Eau Claire, Wisconsin. I'm also willing to fight you in the parking lot to Caribou Coffee. You know, the one that used to be Phillips 66 gas station. I'm willing to fight you in that Caribou Coffee parking lot. It was also, I think, it was a different gas station when it closed down, but it was a Phillips 66 throughout the 2000s when I used to walk there from either campus or from my old duplex.
Or you could fight them in the place where the emeralds burned down.
The Embers?
And then the Embers, that's right.
The Embers. That's why it was hilarious.
That was so funny.
Because
I
the
won't
restaurant
fight
was called
anyone.
Embers, and it burnt down.
Gosh dang it.
And then there was a Sonic there.
Yeah, the Sonic went out of business, and I think it's the Subway moved out of the Shopko strip mall and into the old Sonic. So that's the Subway now.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the Subway now. And I mean, personally, if I'm gonna go get food in anywhere, I'm just gonna go over to Randy's.
Yeah.
Get myself a peanut butter cup malt and a bacon double cheeseburger. But I can get that delivered, so that's why every Friday night I get, because they do they've got a Burger Boys Ghost Kitchen, which is just stuff off the Randy's menu, but just their burger stuff and malts.
Oh, nice.
And I get the a bacon double cheeseburger, which is like 3rd-pound patties, 2 3rd-pound patties. It's not the biggest version. They do have a double cheeseburger on that menu with 2 half-pound patties on the Burger Boys menu.
Jesus.
It's not on the regular Randy's menu. It's just on the Burger Boys menu, just the 2 half-pound. I did that once as like I did that once. I did that once. I had no sides. I had nothing. I just had that one burger, and I was like, I'm going to make a mistake tonight, and I'm going to find out what it's like. It's amazing, but it is a mistake. And 2 1/3 patty. I get that with the onion rings. And a peanut butter cup malt.
Nice.
Yeah, that is every Friday night I get that, to the point where Randy's has like at one point like sent extra desserts home with my order and like instructed the delivery driver to thank me for my loyalty.
Oh.
Because when you order through DoorDash, it gives them your name.
Oh yeah.
And so I also have reviewed the place on DoorDash, so Trey D gets their order every Friday. And it's I also get like the 3 chocolate chip cookies, but I'm not eating that night because that's plenty of food I've already had. I eat those like throughout Saturday. Like I eat the 3 chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah, to get like a peanut butter, to get the malt and the cookies, that could be a little bit much.
Well, I put the malt in the freezer, and then I eat my food.
Yep.
I eat my dinner, and with just like having like a Diet Coke that I have in my apartment or something like that, and then I have the malt afterwards as dessert, and I just eat it with a spoon. Like you can't, like they give you a straw, but like you cannot eat that malt, drink that malt with a straw, because I don't know if you've noticed, but there are pieces of Reese's peanut butter cups in it.
Yeah, we went down to we walked over to Carl D's, and I got it was like it's like a flurry, but with Blue Moon soft serve, Oreos, and chocolate chip cookie dough.
Okay.
And they called it their Cookie Monster, and it was amazing.
That sounds really good.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Celeste,
we have another topic, and that is Celeste. But Umbrella Academy Season 3, it's as good as a great bacon double cheeseburger and a Reese's peanut butter cup malt. All right.
For the record, if anyone wants to fight me, I only fight underneath tarps at Denny's. So it needs to be a Denny's parking lot underneath a tarp, then I will fight you.
We don't have a Denny's in Eau Claire. I got to go to Menominee for that, and I'm not
We
willing
don't
to
have a
drive
Denny's
to
in
Menominee.
Point. We only have a Perkins and an IHOP down in Plover.
Yeah, well, then you guys are gonna have to really drive in order to fight me. That's my rule.
I mean, you could could go to Wausau for a Denny's. That's still too far to drive for a Denny's. We just have a Perkins here, and a Randy's, which is closed on Sunday, which is too bad. Anyways,
meanwhile,
next topic. Celeste went to JAFAX in Michigan. Celeste, give us your con report, convention goer.
So, I work part-time at an anime store in the Janesville Mall, called Angry Fox, and I got to go help my friend sell stuff for their booth. So my my friend Riley and I got in a car and drove for almost 6 hours. I wish it was only 6 miles to the great state of Michigan, to Grand Rapids, where we sold things at the vendor booth, and it was an interesting little show. A few years back, I had worked a con called SS Kaizoku Con, where a ton of people told me about how much they love JAFAX, which made me realize that JAFAX is is this con that has really ride or die people there. So I was curious. Everyone had been raving it up to me, so I was excited to go. JAFAX was neat. I didn't get to leave the vendor hall much because I was, working there. But for what it was worth, it seemed like everyone was really high energy. Quite a bit of very, very open expression of young queer people, which made me, with how scary news was over the weekend, seeing so many people just openly living their best lives was encouraging for our ability to keep going as time goes forward. Side note, I don't know how many people really appreciate just how much the queer community and the anime con community are the same thing, but they are. They absolutely are the same.
I would say there's a lot of overlap.
A lot of overlap.
They're not exactly the
Heck of a
same.
lot.
Yeah, but there's so much overlap, and I don't think anyone realizes. I don't think everyone out there realizes, just especially with how shitty people the stereotype of anime avatars on the internet is. I think the meme lords and internet trolls who as much as it's the stereotype they need to go out and touch grass, in my experience a lot of those people are quite literally not going out to touch grass, because I don't run into them in person at these things, and JAFAX is no exception. Saw some really neat people, saw some excellent cosplay. Voice actress Caitlin Glass swung by our booth, and she bought a figure of the character she played in Love Live, so that was a highlight of the weekend. I ran into a guy dressed as Tochiro Oyama from the Captain Harlock series, and he was so delighted that I recognized his cosplay that the guy had to have been at the very least in his 50s. He pulled out a handcrafted Captain Harlock skull and crossbones pin, handed it to me, and told me I had become a space pirate. So that was really fun. There was a really cool group doing panels and demos at the con who were a society for the preservation of classical swordsmanship. And they didn't just have museum pieces. They actually studied old medieval European martial arts in order to keep classical swordsmanship alive and practiced in some form. And so that was just really cool. Yeah, no, it was just, I had a really, this weekend obviously had a lot of scary stuff going on. I had a really positive experience at JAFAX itself. It was super fun. my hotel experiences were not nearly as good initially, but it worked out. I don't know.
Well, you are cursed at hotels when
Yeah, you have a
especially
weird and bad history with hotel
especially
rooms.
when working for Stacy.
Weird. So, to my defense, this is one where I looked for the highest rated hotel that was in the price range that I was given.
Okay, but what did you look at the negative reviews?
I looked at the reviews in general. Anything that was negative was normal. What I was seeing was normal, inexpensive hotel stuff.
Okay, that's the question. Because that's my technique: is I ignore any positive reviews. I only read the negative reviews, and then I read to make sure that they're like actual problems and not just whiny customer doesn't like the fact that the front desk clerk wasn't smiling at 2 a.m.
Yeah, our first hotel room. So here's the thing. They worked with us. Our first hotel room, which was at the Baymont. I'm going to call them out. My friend Riley, the driver, went to take a shower and got out because the water wasn't draining just down the pipe. It appeared to be draining underneath the floorboards. And like the shower itself, like the floor of it looked like a waterbed.
Oh no.
Oh no.
So we immediately reported it, and the person at the front desk was super understanding, gave us a new key. We looked and checked the room, looked for shower was nice and clean. There were no signs of like bed bugs or anything. That seemed fine. The next morning, however.
Oh no.
Oh no. Yeah, the next morning we got up and Riley calls to me from the bathroom. There is a bug. And we catch it underneath a cup. It is definitely a cockroach.
Oh man.
So Riley is not having any of it. I'm not having any of it. So we talked to our boss. We talked to our boss, Stacy, who says, you know what? She's like, you know what? Take it down to the front desk, get a refund. So we did. We took the cup with the cockroach to the front desk. I am always going to treasure the look on the front desk guy's face. And I know this is going to sound shocking, he refunded me the entire stay immediately.
Well, good on him.
So then we went slightly further down the road. We found this really nice little hotel that we had no problems at. It was super comfy. And then added bonus, at the end of Saturday, the day before we had to leave, I noticed that the pool was open, and I got to go swimming for the first time since the pool was open late, so there was like no one down there. I got to go swimming for the first time since I started T-blockers. So that was really fun. I got to just swim for a little bit. I got to finally like wear a girl's bathing suit. It was nice. So that was really cool. I had a really good time. This was a good event. Like, hotel shenanigans aside, even that worked out in the end. And plus we kind of got a nicer hotel because the hotel budget for the weekend kind of got collapsed into the like stay for the last half of the weekend instead. So that was good. That was very good. It ended up working out. So it was a really fun con. I do hotel shenanigans aside, that had nothing to do with JAFAX. We didn't stay at their main event center. They have a cute little event. No one I talked to in the vendor or artist area made a ton of money, but everyone seemed to be having a good time, and I was very happy with it. So if you're in the Michigan area and you need a nice little con to go to, JAFAX is an excellent option. And by the way, yes, they did have a mask policy. Yes, they did ask for people to be vaccinated before they arrived. They weren't as good at policing masks as I would have liked, but as soon as I got home, I did take a rapid test. As far as I know, I am negative, but we'll check later in the week just to be safe. But yeah, no, they were taking COVID seriously, which was very nice.
That's good. I'm familiar with JAFAX because I don't know if any of the people still working there were part of this, but apparently one of the people who used to be in charge of the event was a fan of Unconventional, my old webcomic that I used to do, and used to like include. I think he included like some of the scripts in like meeting notes because he asked me permission to do it. But I've yet to ever actually make it to JAFAX myself, and I've heard nothing but good things about the con.
They're a really nice little event. My interactions with the staff were positive. The setup was really, really, really nice. Load in and load out for vendors was pretty organized. I can't complain. I mean, I could complain. I'm not gonna though. JAFAX is good. If you're in the Grand Rapids, Michigan area, swing by, give them a shout out. They're pretty cool. I liked it.
All right. Well, I think that moves us on to our last point here, which is the mailbag.
Oh, yeah.
And in the mailbag this episode, we have another quiz from Bucketman Zach.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Here's the quiz. The subject is this a real or fake Sonic game?
Oh, no.
Message. Hi, y'all. Just listened to the most recent episode, May 30th, and wanted to send in another quiz. If this goes well, I'll send in one more for next month. This one is a bit different, and for transparency, I did not make this. I stole it from the internet. You'll be deciding whether a name of a Sonic game is real or fake. Potential bonus points if you can name the console or consoles it was released on at the reader's discretion. There are 16 games in total on this list. I will...
Oh, boy.
I'm not going to count points. I'll let the listeners count the points for us, but I, Trey, have the answer key, and so I'm going to be asking these questions to Celeste again, and just like we did last time. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you if it's real or if it's fake, and if it's real, there will be a second question about what system it's for. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, let's do this.
All right. The first question. Here's your softball. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Real.
Real. That's
yes.
a real one.
Yes, that's real. Yeah, can you name the system it's for?
Mega Drive.
Sega Genesis.
Both of those are acceptable answers. I would have also taken. I would have also accepted Sega Master System. I would have also accepted Sega Master System and maybe Game Gear. Moving on to the second question, the second game, Sonic Advance 4.
I'm gonna go with not real. I don't know why. I'm guessing. Totally guessing.
Again, you said real. Celeste,
yeah.
you said Celeste.
Fake.
Did you say fake? All right.
I'm saying fake.
Well, Celeste is correct. There is not a fourth Sonic Advance. All right.
Weird.
Sonic Triple Trouble.
Fake.
Oh, but I love the alliteration. Oh no. I'm gonna go with real. Gonna be a contrarian.
Well, Celeste gets the point then because
What?
Sonic Triple Trouble is real Can you
Oh,
tell me what
man.
system it's for?
Dreamcast.
No.
Rats.
Ken, do you want to guess what system it's for?
I want to guess some portable thing.
Well, but there are Sonic games for, multiple portables, so...
I don't have any of them coming to my brain. It's a bad brain day. I told y'all before.
The answer is Game Gear.
Game Gear. Okay,
I
wow.
literally said Game Gear like 5 minutes ago also.
I don't listen.
All right, here's our fourth one. Sonic and Friends.
Real.
That is fake.
Dang it.
Mind-boggling. I'm actually surprised by that.
Sonic
one.
and Friends is a TV show.
That's what it is.
Okay. Yeah.
Tricky.
All right, here's our fifth one. Sonic Drift 2.
Fake.
You're both saying fake on that one.
Both saying fake.
Well, I hate to tell you,
Oh,
Sonic
no!
Drift 2 is real.
What?
We're really bad at this.
Would either of you like to guess what system it's for?
I'm going to say Saturn.
The Virtual Boy. No.
Again.
That was when Sega was doing what Nintendo didn't.
And there's only like 8 games for Virtual Boy.
I'll go with Game Gear again.
Game Gear is actually correct. All right. Here's your next one. Sonic and the Secret Rings.
Real.
That one's real.
That one's totally real.
All right. You are both correct.
That one I know.
That is real. Do you know what system it's for?
That one Dreamcast?
It is not Dreamcast. Ken, do you have a guess?
Genesis?
No. It is the
Saturn,
Wii.
isn't it? Oh, really?
Oh,
Okay.
that's right. I forgot.
All right. Here's your next one. Super Sonic Blast.
That sounds real.
I hate that it's real, and I think it's real.
Super Sonic Blast is, in
I think
fact,
it's real.
It is fake.
Damn it!
That sounds good, though.
Yeah. It does. Unfortunately.
They're not going to stop making Sonic games. We all just have to accept this.
All right, here's your next one. Sonic the Hedgehog 4, Episode 2.
Fake.
Fake, only because it doesn't sound like a full game. It sounds like part of a game.
Well, whether it sounds like it's full or partial, it is real.
Dang
God,
it.
what?
Would you like to guess what console that's available on?
Wii U.
Sega Genesis. Is it an old one?
No, it's not an old one. I actually don't know if there's a Wii U version.
Wii?
Well, no, it's because it's PS3 and Xbox 360 for Episode 2. What did that... I'm genuinely going to Google this to see if...
Yeah, please.
If there's a Wii U version.
What the heck was it?
No, so... Windows, iOS, Ouya, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, NVIDIA Shield Portable, NVIDIA Shield TV, and Android.
The frickin' Ouya?
The Ouya got it, yes.
No wonder. No wonder we couldn't frickin'...
Well, it was also
no wonder
Xbox,
it sounded weird.
Also Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. All right, let's...
Whoop-de-doo.
All right, here's your
I'm
next
still
one.
mad.
Here's your next one. The Sonic.
No. Fake.
Celeste, what's your guess?
I'm gonna go with fake.
You are both correct. It is fake.
Yes.
All right. Here's your next one. Sonic Kart 3DX.
Real.
Real.
It is, in fact, real. Can you tell me what it's for?
The 3DX? I don't know what that is.
PlayStation.
I mean, Celeste, clearly the 3DX is like the 3DS, but extreme. No, it's no, it's a mobile game. All right.
Story of my life.
The next one is Sonic Slam, with slam in all
Fake.
capital letters with periods.
Fake.
I think it's real.
Well, in this case, Celeste, you are wrong. It is fake.
Fake.
It is fake. All right, here's your next one. Sonic's Casino Poker.
I don't want it to be real, so I'm going to say it's real.
It totally could be real, because they play off Casino Park. Ugh. I'll say real.
You are both correct. It is real.
I don't like it.
Can you tell me what platform it's on?
PC.
Yeah, PC. Web browser.
No, it's a mobile game.
Ah.
All right. Number 13, Sonic and the Black Knight.
Real.
That one's real. I
That
only
one's
know about it because Jen wants to ruin my King Arthur research.
Yes!
You are correct. Can you tell me
Yes!
what it's for?
It's for the Wii.
It is
I know,
for
it's
the
for the
Wii.
Wii.
Are there motion controls?
Yes! And they're terrible.
I
And the
think
whole storyline, like, oh my gosh. Celeste and I have to get into like just the story of Sonic and the Black Knight because it's ridiculous, and from an authorian like historical perspective, it's just so
It's gonna physically hurt me.
we need to
I know it
live
will.
stream. We need to do a live stream of you ruining King Arthur for Celeste using this game.
yes, we do.
I'm sure. Sure.
All right. Moving on. Sonic Rhythms.
Has there been a Sonic rhythm game? It wouldn't surprise me. I don't think so. I'm gonna say fake.
I'm gonna say real.
Well, Celeste, you are wrong. It is fake.
Dang it.
You know, I don't think there is a I don't think there is a Sonic. I don't think there's a Sonic rhythm game. However, there are multiple games from Sonic the Hedgehog series in the game Samba de Amigo, which is a rhythm game made by Sonic Team.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That was for the Dreamcast, and then it later had a Wii release.
Mm.
It is it's only okay on the Wii. It is amazing on the Dreamcast, but the problem is to play the game you need the maracas controllers, and they all wear out. And so to find working maracas controllers in 2022 is, I'm just going to say it's impossible, because all the third-party ones didn't really operate properly. And so only the first-party ones ever really worked accurately on that game. And they all eventually, because it's a game where you're physically shaking the controller, and I don't know if you know this, but electronics don't always like that. And so,
No.
like, there is always like a lifespan on those things.
Yeah,
but-
that's not great.
all right, we got
That's
two
not
more. We
great.
got two more here. All
Two
right,
more.
Throw it at me.
Sonic Riders Zero Gravity.
That's real.
Real.
That's gotta be real.
That is real. Can you tell me what it's for?
Mobile.
No.
Mobile racing game.
Nope, not mobile.
Dang it.
This time I'm gonna say the Switch. Yeah.
PS4.
Nope, you guys are going too recent. It is for PS2 and Wii.
Ah.
Rats. Okay.
That like end of PS2, beginning of the generation after it, and then like PS2 and Wii. That's a interesting. All right, so here's your final one: typing at Sonic speeds.
I want to say
I-
fake, but it could be a trick question because it could be
I think
like,
it's
just
real.
a typing game that does not have Sonic the Hedgehog in it.
I think it's real. Sonic speed
Fake.
typing for
No.
the PC and Mac. Yep.
Well, I hate to tell you, but it is fake.
Damn it!
Well, but it's I think it's a great one to put in there because there was a Mario typing game.
That's the thing.
So-
Mario did a bunch of edutainment games,
Yeah.
whereas I'm pretty sure Sonic never did.
Sonic's too cool for school.
Exactly.
Everybody supersonic racing.
So
I knew like
now is
someone.
the time.
Supersonic racing.
Now is the time I
Take
want
a
to confess
look
that I've only ever
around,
played
everybody.
one.
Everybody.
I've only ever played one Sonic
Everybody.
game,
Everybody.
Just go over 'em. Just
and
go over them.
it was Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine.
Huh.
That's the only one I've ever played.
I love Sonic CD. It is the only Sega CD game I have for my Sega CD. And I also have it on my Kindle Fire, which I got for free, and I mostly just downloaded it on that so I could listen to the FMV song from the American opening, which is a different song that's in the Japanese opening, and I like the American song better.
Okay.
You can when you reach the other side of the rainbow.
I can't wait to tell Celeste all about
It's gonna physically hurt me.
Sonic and the Black Knight, where like
I'm living in fear of this.
he
thing.
gets a talking sword
Oh God.
and Knuckles is Lancelot.
Is Knuckles gonna bang Amy?
I would say is Knuckles gonna? Does
I don't
Knuckles?
remember if Amy is Guinevere. I have to double check
I
that.
would say yeah. Is Amy Guinevere? Who gets to be Guinevere?
It's
Does
either
Knuckles
Amy or
bang them?
Tails.
I mean,
I mean, honestly, Knuckles makes the most sense out of the Sonic canon.
I guess. This
Guys,
is gonna
move out of the
hurt
way.
I
me
mean,
I need to
who's-
read.
Like, is Shadow the Hedgehog Mordred?
Oh no.
Do they even include my boy?
So Amy is the Lady of the Lake.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sure.
Oh, but
and
hey, that doesn't mean anything. You know, in Spamalot, Lady of the Lake and Guinevere are the same character.
there's no Guinevere in this one because King Arthur is like still like King Arthur,
Okay.
and Sonic is just like Sonic in the King Arthur world.
King
but-
Arthur exists, which implies Guinevere might exist, so Knuckles might just straight up bang Guinevere.
Knuckles is actually Gawain. I got that wrong. Shadow is
Oh.
Lancelot,
Shadow
Jesus.
makes sense as Lancelot, I guess.
Not better.
and Blaze is
better.
Percival.
Who's Tails?
I don't know. It doesn't. I'm checking the wiki just as a basic, but I don't see Tails in here. I don't think Tails is in it at all. Or if he is, it's like not as much.
I would have made him Galahad or something.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, the granddaughter of Merlin.
Okay.
Like Sonic gets warped in and he meets Merlina, granddaughter of Merlin.
It's good to know
Creative
that
family.
it is good to know that in the Sonic canon, Merlin canonically fucks.
It is good to know that doesn't come up much. Like, I think it's like cursed in this. That's what I've got for sure. Maybe that show Chris Chibnall did for Stars. I didn't actually watch that.
I mean,
but,
BBC Merlin, I think, definitely wants to bang King Arthur.
Wants to, yes, but I don't. I'm
trying to think if they ever give him a love interest in the entirety of that series. I don't think they do.
They did. She becomes the Lady of the Lake.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time since I watched that because I watched it as it aired. So, like, I mean, that show's like a decade old at this point.
Well, there's 3 very good seasons, and then there's 4 and 5.
I like the last episode.
I'm glad you do.
I like the fact that it implies that we could have another modern day season.
Oh, there it is.
Like a special.
Tails is the blacksmith.
There's not even like a
And
black.
Silver is Galahad.
That's disappointing.
The blacksmith? That's not even Sir not appearing in this film.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Boo.
Boo!
Boo. Come on.
Don't boo me. Boo Sega.
I am booing Sega. I'm
Lame.
booing whatever
I don't know
member
who
of
Jet the Hawk is. Who's Jet the Hawk?
your mom's Jet the Hawk. Anyways, moving on to the Vomit Hat Steve Challenge. Every episode we do the Vomit Hat Steve Challenge, where the challenge to you, the listeners, to guess what book I'm reading from. If you guess the book correctly, you get included in the Hall of Awesome. The benefits of the Hall of Awesome are as follows. 1, we put your name on our website on a kind of obscure page no one ever looks at, but it's there. 2, we read your name aloud in the episode, which is what I'm going to do in a moment. And 3, at some point in the future, you get to stay in a hotel room that Celeste has left and will not go back into. You have the option to take a hotel room that Celeste has vacated. But you have to do it within the time frame that Celeste would have originally stayed there.
You don't want to do that.
All right, so the current members of the Hall of Awesome are as follows. Arkham Zero, Rena Innocenti, Cheesy McDamu, Krista, Slithery, Shameless Otaku, The Random Ramblings Man, Corfan, Capito, Chris Graham, Lusource, Paper Godzilla, Cabsy, The Minnesota Librarian, Sean Orange, Keith Suzuo, Sakura Sunset, Joel Kreisman, Patrick Delahanty, Wonderland Hearts, and Megsy Sass Council. Boom diggity. All right, so now I'm going to read to you a line from a book. And again, you have to guess what book it's from. He groaned, wearily stretched his lanky frame, and sat up. He had dreamt of her again, waking often because he knew it was a dream and he wanted to be free of it. But when he fell back to sleep, her lovely face floated to the surface of his mind, smiling at him. He had left her behind, transferring off to Yorktown without actually saying goodbye, running, he admitted it, from her beauty and the feeling that he had for her. If you know what book that's from, go to nerdandtie.com/contact, fill out the form, and tell us. Or if you have any other thoughts, opinions, quizzes for us to entertain you with, go there and send them that way. Also, we're digging the quizzes. It's a fun way.
It is really fun.
I kept the number of topics down on this episode just because I was really excited to do a quiz.
Yay, quizzes.
You know,
I like them.
It is a truthful thing that we now must abandon you to the annals of time, space, and maybe Florida. We'll abandon you in Florida, and I'm sorry about that, but it's what you
that's terrible.
After what happened last Tuesday in Connecticut, and you know what it was. I don't know. Anyways.
How dare.
I don't want to think about Florida.
I don't want to think about that.
I don't know.
Let's move on.
I'm Trey Torn.
I'm Celeste Star Twin.
I'm Shadow the Hedgehog, playing Gen Proc.
And this has been Nerd and Tie. Remember, we're part of the Nerd and Tie Podcast Network. There's a bunch of other shows on the network that you can check out. Why not watch some episodes of Celeste is Best? Why not listen to Stormwood and Associates every Friday? Why not listen to Season 2 of The Meat Grinder? Why not listen to Let's Be Legendary? There's so much great stuff on the network, and you can find all of it at nerdandtie.com. Remember, you can always subscribe to the show on iTunes, on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, really anywhere that podcasts are distributed, and you should really get on that because it's cool. And if you could rate and review us on places like Apple Podcasts, it would really help us out in the algorithms. Tell us how much you love it. If you want to follow the show on social media, you can follow us on Twitter at Nerd and Tie. We are on Facebook at facebook.com/Nerd and Tie, and you can follow us on Tumblr at nerdandtie.tumblr.com. Remember, you can support the show financially by contributing to our legal fund at GoFundMe.com. I was playing the wrong song in the background. There we go. There's the actual end theme. You can support our legal fund at GoFundMe.com/nerdandtie, or you can support us directly. I have a Patreon at patreon.com/TRAEGORN. Celeste has a Patreon at patreon.com. It's still /Nikazumi.
Still Nikazumi for the time being. Still
all right.
Figuring out.
And you can, of course, support again financially by buying stuff from Ocelot Dude Designs. And they make neat stuff. And we make neat stuff. We all make neat stuff together. Because in your heart, in your mind, in the places where you are in the dark, all alone at night, just remember that somewhere out there, Tails is just a blacksmith. And nothing better, because apparently...
Bullshit, Sega.
Which is bullshit. It's bullshit.
Hey, he'll
and
upgrade your talking sword.
You need to write your representative about what kind of bullshit it is that Tails has been relegated to an unnamed character. Like, it's not even like a... Is there even a King Arthur story where a blacksmith is heavily featured as a central character to the story?
Yeah, they could have cast him as Belvedere. Come on!
There's a lot of better character. I can't think of one offhand. There absolutely is, because there's more of them than there are stars, but I can't think of one offhand.
There's tons of characters in the Sonic universe.
Yeah, there are. And it's you could have cast Tails as Guinevere.
I mean, honestly, yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying that King Arthur and the Knights of Justice was less disrespectful to the King Arthur mythos than making a major character just the blacksmith. I don't think King Arthur and the Knights of Justice would have done that to Tails. In fact, actually, I think Tails needs to go join King Arthur and the Knights of Justice in the ultimate crossover. I need you to write your representatives, write Sonic Team at Sega, write Sega, and just instruct them that this needs to happen, and they need to license...
if not them, on AO3, go, fanfic writers, go!
Get on it.
We need the Sonic, and...
So let's say your catchphrase. We're running out of end theme.
Keep on spocking in the free world.
And also, again, we need to write this wrong.
And be careful when Googling yourself as a Sonic character.
Oh God.
No, don't do it. Do not do that.
Do not do it.